Hi, it's Brett from Pennsylvania Camp and Canoe, and I wanted to put together a small, short video. With my Kelty 12-foot Noah, seems to come up on the hammock forums a lot. New people starting out using them because they're dirt cheap, they're durable, and I think they're very versatile. So I kind of wanted to show 3 different ways to set up the diamond, which is the way it's designed. It's a diamond with cat cuts. The A-frame, which I think is the way most people use, and that's a good winter setup because, or storm setup. You can close up the ends and make them like doors. And a new thing I just kind of stumbled across. I want to call it an asymmetrical, but it's not an asymmetrical tarp. But you hang it kind of that way, and it gives you a little bit more coverage, a little more square footage around the hammock, but still keeps the hammock dry. The Kelty 12-foot Noah tarp is designed as a diamond. It's more of a square, turned on its side. But as you can see, for hammock camping, it's not as practical, not very practical at all. The ends of the tarp, if you can see that, they're right up against the trees. I can't go any wider, and there's all kinds of slack in the middle. I could try to get those ends up further in the tree and have a swoop in the middle, which would work. But then I'm afraid you can see my hammock is exposed already. You know, in sunny weather, I'm probably not even going to put the tarp up anyways. So, you know, I'm thinking this is for rain, snow. It's not going to cover it as well. Although it covers the whole suspension. You know, suspension is not going to get wet from anything coming straight down. And these corners here don't give you much cover from side to side. You could get your bag under there, but I'm not crazy about it. That's why I always did the A-frame. Let's do a little walk around for this pitch. Now, this tarp in this configuration between 2 trees that are wide apart that you were using for like a community area, you know, if you were car camping and had a table set up, this tarp is huge. It would be great for that. But in this pitch, not very practical. Now, I have heard people say that these tarps leak. Not so far for us. We've got 2 of them, and we've had sags like this before. Just didn't get the tarp. Well, what happened was, especially at Spring Maha this year, we used the tarps, we overlapped them so that Lori and I could sleep near each other, and space was kind of tight. I didn't want to take up a bunch of trees for the 2 of us, and we had a little bit of slack in the one, and the water pooled up, and I had probably a good 2 gallons of water in a big bubble hanging down over my head. Not a drip got through, and it was there for a couple hours at least. So got kind of wet spilling it out because it all ran down the side and splashed, but never dripped through. So haven't had a problem yet. This is, I've lost count. We've had at least a dozen trips this year. Rained heavy, maybe 3 of those trips. We've had rain more than half the time, so good tarp. Second, we have the A-frame style. This is the pitch I've been using all year and haven't had a problem yet, but I'll show you my concern. This has got probably the least amount of coverage of the 3 styles I'm going to show. It's still just adequate. I have maybe 6 inches over my drip line, but this is better for blowing, especially if it's coming in from one direction. I will lift up these corners with my poles and go into porch mode. Porch mode is nice when I'm camping with Lori because we can lift both of our sides up facing each other and be able to see each other during the night. It's weird coming into hammocks from tents where you're used to being within arm's reach of each other. Beginning of the year, we slept practically on top of each other with our hammocks. Now we're spreading out more and more as we get more comfortable with it, and we realize that unlike in a tent's kind of claustrophobic. It takes you away. You can be in a tent next to another tent and not even be able to communicate with them. You feel like you're separated. Where with the hammocks, it's more open, and the whole woods is your tent. So being 5 feet away, 10 feet away, you can still talk to each other. You can see each other. That's the big thing. So with the A-frame style, everybody's, I'm sure, familiar with. This is what it looks like underneath. And I like this hang. I will be using this winter because I will take this corner and that corner and I close this up. I've done it already in a couple of hangs if it gets really stormy out, and make doors. So you can close the ends off with this tarp. It's not the same as a tarp with doors, but it's close enough. And my 11-foot hammock fits underneath it with the ends closed up. And I still have room under there for my pack. Get a side shot. Again, just so that people know, that's an 11-foot Dutch hammock. Under there, and it covers it very well. I haven't gotten wet yet. And last we have what I'm calling an asymmetrical pitch. Okay, this is achieved by going from the corner up one tie out. The Kelties have 3 tie outs. This is not the side you want your head or your feet to be on. I hang with a head left, feet right. So my head is under the longer part. My feet are under the longer part. So this part covers. And you come down to this side and you've got plenty of room. So you've got plenty of room for gear. So my bag's down here. There's lots of room here. If you had a stool, you could easily sit under one of these wings. And you can see how much of the hammock is actually covered by the tarp. If I had to guess, I would have to say the end of my hammock, or where my drip line is probably 8 to 12 inches under the corner. I don't know if I could get a better view, but it's got plenty of coverage. I'm going to walk around just a little bit. You could bring these corners down. It rained last night and I left it up like this. It wasn't blowing too hard. You could bring that corner down, give you more of like a storm mode cover. And the same thing on the other side. You go opposite corner, then you go to the first tie out, and it gives it that asymmetrical style hang. You see it's kind of going off to this side and back to this side. And a widowmaker just fell. So you see how much coverage you're going to get, which is much more than the A-frame style, but less than the diamond style. That's an 11-foot hammock. It's the Dutch 11-footer. It's well within the tarp.